on traders? Time for a daily recap. Today is 10/24/18. I want to start today off by saying that there is nothing easy about trading. I don't think I do a good enough job stressing this. If you can't manage your risk, you're going to be out of the game. You might as well just save your money and go home. There's nothing easy about trading, okay? And I may make it sound that way, and I know I don't do a good enough job of saying how hard trading is. And I want to say, like, one of the things today made this so hard, okay? Some days are just really easy moves, they do exactly what you think they're going to do. Yeah, we have those days, but there's nothing easy about it. This right here, testing, double top, pulls back at the open, holding the 200 MA, a little bit of a test. Still, right now you look at this and it's like, oh yeah, this was an easy short. It was not an easy short. This was looking really, really like it could bounce. Higher low, higher low, higher low. We could very easily bounce, get back up and test 175 at least, right? Same with the SPY. Look at the SPY. Double top, comes back, pulls back right into 200 MA. And even as it cracks the 200 AM, look how often it cracks the 200 MA and then pops back over, right? Same thing here. Set up a nice lower high. It wasn't until here that it was convincing. It wasn't until here that it was convincing, okay? So just keep that in mind as I'm talking through these trades. So we'll look at SQ. I wanted to be short the 75, okay? Right now, I'm not really trusting the long side, but also this morning looked like a very good potential bounce day. Okay, if you look at the daily chart on the triple Qs and everything, right? Today could be a very potential bounce day. So since we started off pulling back with some weakness, perfectly natural move. We got a nice little move overnight, pre-market. People are taking profits. It's natural. So there's still a really good chance this can bounce. I want to be on the bounce day if it happens. Okay. But I really don't trust the long side. I'm still thinking short. So the plan was here, pop to 75. I want to get some short. Okay, if it holds up or if it comes back and they take some profits from this move here, it comes back, then I want to be long here. So let's just see how it plays out. Well, it pops. I had a chance to get short. I missed it. Irritating already. Missed it. Didn't take it. So it pulls back. I go ahead and get the calls. It breaks loose. And this is what I'm saying. I already missed a short once. I'm not missing it here. Okay, so I took the puts and then I cut the calls and I'm working the puts all the way down. Okay, I took two different strikes. I traded I said it wrong on Twitter. I traded the NVIDIA no, this is the wrong one. It's not NVIDIA. SQ. I traded the SQ 72s. Let me look here. And the SQ P72s, the P70s. I got about a 300% gain. Someone had asked for them. So $1.19 to $3 roughly, 112 to 222 on the other ones. I got about 100% gain, 120, well, 100% gain on one and about 300% gain on the other one. So a total of about 4R on this. And then the calls, when I cut them, it cracked loose here and I cut them on the bounce back up here actually is where I cut them. I was holding them here because I thought 72 could bounce. So 72 was still a key level and you can't tell it here, and this is what I'm stressing. It's what I'm trying to explain is that trading is not easy. The triple Qs were still holding up, okay, but they had sold off, right? This thing sold off, but it was still holding up. It was still holding 72. If the triple Qs bounced, this thing would have ripped right through here. I'm not selling these calls. So I didn't even sell these calls until they broke here. Once it cracked here, I sold the calls, okay? But I had already been banking on the puts as I like to work a core. And then when we cracked here, I couldn't get an ad because this didn't quite pop where I wanted. It cracked loose, and then this is where I got my ad, okay? So that's how I do those, two different strikes. I like to take two different strikes. I generally take two different strikes. So NVIDIA, what was the plan with NVIDIA? Same thing, here's another one. Now NVIDIA's daily chart, if it were to bounce, the plan on the NVIDIA is if it were to bounce, it would have been the best chart of the day for the bounce. I think it had the best potential to move if it could bounce, but if not, it has the absolute by far best ugliest chart for upside, so the best chart for the short side. Okay, so the plan was on this to get short this 220, had a nice pop up there, missed it, so double irritated. I'm irritated here, I'm irritated here, and at the same time it's still kind of showing some relative strength because it's holding up pre-market while this thing is falling apart right now, and NVIDIA is sitting here holding up its pre-market. Right here, these lows from yesterday's lows, right? It's just sitting here holding it up. It's showing some nice relative strength. Triple Qs are kind of selling off. I'm like, hey, this is showing nice relative strength. This is showing nice relative strength, right? I'm going to get long on these. But I'll be dang if I'm going to miss a setup twice. Same thing. As soon as it cracks, I'm out. These right here, there was no support. I know once this thing cracks, it's done. I didn't even wait. I cut those calls. I didn't even take, I don't know, 0.3R loss on these calls. And now I'm short, okay? And this is a nice load the boat setup. It cracks, it comes back up, and it tests it, right? So I got some size on these. I got two different strikes. I got the NVIDIA 200s and the 210s. I said it wrong on Twitter. I didn't take the 220s. They're 200s and 210s. 255 average on one, about a 108 average on the other. I got 1250 was my best sell. So on the 210s, I went from 255 to 1250 was my best sell. Okay, that was my best entry and my best sell. I didn't just hold this whole thing. I worked a core, so my average changed all the way down. But that was my best entry, and my best sell was 490%. I like to work a core. I like to add back. I like to add, sell on the washes and add back on pops, and just keep recycling those shares, whatever you want to call it. I call it working a core. I like to work that all the way down. I want to pay myself while it's going down, always mindful of my average. That's how I do it. The other strike, the 200s, I don't play them that way. I just hold them. Okay, so I got a 108 average on those with a couple of different entries. Got some decent size on them. So a 108 average, and then went to 630 was was a good sell, and 670 was my best sell. Okay, and I'm still holding a piece short on this, and I'm still holding a piece of this. But I took the bulk of it out and paid myself. And then the last trade that I took today was my baby Netflix. And how did this play out? Well, I was trading SQ and NVIDIA at the open, so I wasn't involved in any of this. Okay, so the only place that I liked this at all was here for a potential long. That's it. So I got some calls on this test here of this area. I got some calls. Could have locked in some gains, but I was looking for the bigger move. If this was going to bounce, to me, this was one of the best chances it had. If it couldn't bounce here, I didn't think it had it in it to bounce at all. If this is like the one shot in my mind. So I tried it. It comes back. I'm thinking double bottom here. It might still rip, so I hang on to the calls. Once it breaks this right here, the long thesis is over. I'm not even, it's just out of the question. Cracks, comes back up here, I'm grabbing the puts, and then I still held the calls in case it would rip. I would be in the long side, right? But as soon as it gets this candle here and it starts wicking down, it's like, that's it, I'm out. So I took a small loss on the calls. I don't know, 0.4R on the calls. So I took a loss on the calls, but this got me involved in the puts. I got two strikes on the Netflix put because I got the 290s and 300s. Okay, and it's the same thing. I like to work a core on one, and I like to hold the other one. The 290s was right around, I had multiple entries, but I had a 212 average was my best entry, and $5 was my best sell. The Netflix P300s were a 237 average, and my best sell was 830. So 400 and something percent, about a 400% gain on one, and I don't know, whatever that is, 100%, 150% on the other one. So, even if you just say 150%, say roughly, and then 100% are like on the call side, still, whatever, pretty good percentage gain. Those are the only two that I took the longs on. Or actually, I ended up long and short on both of them, and still came out with a nice fat green day. So anyway, that's the power of options. That's my trades for today. See ya. Peace.